Hey, top of the morning to you. I'm Michael, as the grandkids call me Roo. Thanks for being on Roodoodles Live. It's 8:57, Saturday morning, October the 9th. I think that's right. Is the day the 10th? You know, I should probably look that up before I make a comment like that, but I think it's the 9th. Wow, where has the time gone? Huh? I've been on the road. I'm back to my studio, or back to my office studio. The art bar is still downstairs, and I'm glad you're with me this morning. Thanks for being on. I'm going to say hello to some of you, and then I'm going to jump on the show. And I've got some painting to do. In fact, I have some painting to catch up on here. Let me give you just a look at the desk. There's just stuff all over the place. I've got papers unpacked. Let me see if I can do that right here. Boom. There we go. There's a shot of the desk with my tea bag floating around in there. I've had people ask me, what's in your tea? You're supposed to take the tea bag out. Well, who says that? What kind of rule is that you get the tea out of the way? I like it to just keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger as the liquid goes down. And so I just leave that thing floating around in there, and I haven't drank one yet. So thank you for your concern and care. But, no, I'm just kidding. I'm being very careful. All right. So thanks for being on the show this morning. Hey, jumping on. Thank you. A couple of new people on. Let me just say hello to some of you that are already on. Jason Nichols from a car in a parking lot at a soccer practice. Great Scott, buddy. That's better from in a police car on the side of the road somewhere. So, man, you are doing well. And so Jason's back in school. You guys know that he's teaching up a storm, and I guess you probably, if you're at the car, your son must be playing. I don't think I've heard you say coaching soccer too, man. You got a full schedule, young man. Lori Stanley, Hendelmeyer, Henderson, morning to you. Thank you for being on the show. Catherine Brousseau and Jason, yes, thank you for being here. Linda, Bob from the it's Calliope or Calliope. Calliopes are fantastic, huh? And I know I've told the story because I've told so many, but I was in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where a guy was recreating that 100-and-something-year-old merry-go-round with a calliope in it from Germany. And I got to actually hang around him for a little bit, and I borrowed a horse head that he was carving, a wooden one. I was using it to tell the story. He was just a master craftsman. Calliopes. I wish I could have found some Calliope music this morning. That would have been good. Had a little bit of jazz, I think, here. No Calliope. I'll find some Calliope music, though. I can do it. I think I'm going to use that little jazz piece there a little later to, I don't know, maybe paint something. Just mix it a couple colors. Chris Whitaker, welcome. Thanks for being on the show. Karen Bender, Cinder, Elaine Walker, thanks for being here. Beverly Schmidt, good morning from Greenville, South Carolina. Just put a package in the mail to you yesterday. I've been carrying it around safely while I was on the road, but it is in a package and it left here yesterday. And I got this good news from South Australia. Sue Kane said in less than 4 weeks, her paintings all showed up, and it was a lot of paintings from some auctions past, and I threw in a book or two for her because she's just such an encouragement and support for the people internationally that reach out to this show, and a great artist. Oh, my heavens. And so, Sue, it made it, so I'm so glad. It would have been easier just to put the paintings in my truck and maybe ship my truck on a ship, but I did it through the mail, and you got it, so thanks for that note. That's awesome. Pat Brooks, welcome to the show always. Rue Worlders and Pat Brooks. Pat, you're going to love this. Let's see, where is it here? I laid it out here. I think I'm going to do this today. You see this book right here with all the artwork illustrated by Pat Brooks. This is all her artwork. I just wrote the stories. I did the easy part. She did the art part. I'm going to give this book away today. It may have a little bit of paint stain on the back of it right there, but I'm gonna. In fact, I'll doodle something. Let me just remind myself here. I'll remember that. Come on. I'll doodle something on here, and I'll just put a little note and from Pat. And how can I put a note from Pat? But I'll say from Pat and I. So Pat, thank you for helping me give this away this morning. It's Doodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. I usually give away, and I've been doing this for many years since I've been painting Roodoodles. On the first of the month, I always give something away and try to give away a lot of things to people just because one is, who doesn't like getting free stuff? That is, unless you live in a small, one of those little teardrop trailers that you pull behind cars. If you see those things going down the interstate and somebody gives you a St. Bernard, that's probably not a good gift. But in most cases, re-gift it. If you already have a book, then give it to someone else. Say, hey, give it to a school teacher. We really want some school teachers to get their hands on this. Not because it's all about watercolor painting, but it's all about rules that just really do work in your life, okay? Holidays are not just for people. It's what gives life its space and light. But you know what? Taking a holiday and having some white space in your system, you know what I mean by that? Just space that you say, hey, the next hour I don't have to be anywhere. I'm just going to make tea. No, wait, I'm going to have somebody else make my tea and bring it to this table, and I'm just going to sit here and doodle or sketch or write an essay on the belly of a frog. Remember that old story in school? What's the worst part about writing an essay on the belly of the frog? Getting the frog in the typewriter. See, stuff like that just comes to me. I don't know. It's just old stories. That happens when you're an old man. All right, so I'm going to give this book away here in a little bit. So call your friends and neighbors. I'm going to give it away. I'm just going to scroll up, draw a name. And so, Pat, this is going out this morning. Appreciate you being on the show always. Pat's an encouragement to all and as organized as the day is long. And sometimes the days get really long. Heather Kuhlman, thanks for being on from Smoky Point, Washington. Great Scott. Put it on the car speakers. Sounds great. Hey, I'll order through the drive-thru. Could I get the biscuit egg cheese? But make sure the bacon isn't greasy. Love it, love it, love it. Remember when they had answering machines, and people did long messages on answering machine? For about 15 years, my answering machine was Nigel. And so I did the best British accent I could do. Hello, this is Nigel. The whole family, they're not available right now, but if they were, they probably wouldn't even take your call anyway because I think they're playing croquet out on the lawn. And so if you don't want to speak to the Queen, then hang up or call back. And so I would do stuff like that, and I would say, hello, it's Nigel, the electronic butler. The horns are not available. Leave, and maybe they'll get back. And so, even people who were calling in collectors or nowadays it's rotary calls. And the rotary calls really bother me because they use other people's numbers, and that really bothers me. The health company here is Avante Health or Atrium Health. They have cannibalized that number into one of their rotations. I got a call. I thought, oh, this is my doctor calling. Hello? This is from your college loans are, so I don't know how they do that, but it bothers me. So now sometimes I just pick up the phone. If it's a spam call or if I'm expecting a call that I don't have the name in, I'll just say, hey, you're the next third call. You're the third caller. Hold on right there. Going to ask you about what you think today is a climate of. They hang up immediately. So I go into that radio voice. Sorry, I'm ADD today. I'm fast brain. Gene Anthalzer, thanks for being on the show. Trish Brown, Carol Marcy, good morning to you, Carol. Glad to have you back on the show every now and then, popping in. Karen Pikert, thanks for being on the show. Patricia Evans, yes. That is dedication. Hey, Jason's an artist, man. He's a teacher, he's a father, he's a husband, but I'm going to tell you that brother is an artist and certainly thinks like one. Deborah Spangler, yes. Kim Stokes, thanks for being on the show. Sandy Rowe, Beautiful day ahead with granddaughter coming over for an overnight and an out day of art. I had 3 kids over last night, and my 14-year-old grandson has just got a new haircut, and you're going to love it. His hair is real short. No, I'm just kidding. He's got long hair too, but they convinced the stylist to come and do a 70s mullet. And it is funny, man. He looks just like he's out of the late 70s, early 80s. And I said, well, we got to go watch some MacGyver. He goes, who's MacGyver? I go, come on. And so last night we spent about an hour get all hooked up so we can see some MacGyver shows from 1985. And because my kids thought I was MacGyver for a while. And I took that on as a brag because I like to make and piddle and fix things and weld and anyway, fun story. Amy Roach, thanks for being on the show. Kathy Morrill, Linda Linhart, Teresa Emmerich, working on some blueprints for a house I'm designing. I'm loving that, man. I'll come and paint one whole wall. Yeah. Crystal McKelney, thank you for being on the show. Deborah Rideout, wow, good morning, long time no see. Well, Deborah, I've been here. Where the heck have you been? J.A. Berg, Jacqueline Browse, up in northern Minnesota, where the leaves are turning, especially the maples. Chris Whitaker, I think I said hi to you. Rhonda DeHart from Faith, North Carolina. That's a good place to live in Faith. I like it. That'd be a great business card. I like it. Rhonda, thanks for being on the show today. Catherine Pulver, Laura Abbott, thanks for being on the show. June Jones, Massunny, morning all. I think Massunny, that's a new word. June Jones can just make up some words sometimes if she wants to. Lynn Brown, thanks for being on the show. I'm finally back to painting in Palatine. Well, there you go. Not Ballantyne. That's near where I live, but Palatine. And I don't think that's in Israel, but it'd be great. I'd like to be there right now. My next journal is going to be in Israel, I think, Lord willing. I'm going to take one of my empty ones. I got one right here. Take a look at this. Boom, there it is. There is the Moleskine Japanese album. It hasn't even been unwrapped out of the plastic. Woo-hoo-hoo. Ordered it from Cheap Joe's several months ago, actually, and I thought I needed it for this trip to Maine, and I realized, oh, you knucklehead, you already had one. So, excuse me, my eye is... something is in my eye besides my eyeball. Okay. It's itchy. So this is the Moleskine I want to take to, and I got to show you my last Moleskine video. I did one more, and thank you, Yasutoma, who's posting it, and thank you to Cheap Joe's, who Brian called me and said, hey man, can we post on our social media your journal as you put all the tools on there? And I'm going to show you that video in just a minute. All right. Trina Seal, Donna Sell Barton, Patricia Hazel, Jack Wolfenbarger. Good morning to you, my dear friend. Thought of you while I was down in Florida. I was on the other end of the state. It's a long state. But good morning to you. Irene, is it Scrans from Mokina, Illinois? Woohoo! Thanks for loving all my Peru paintings. Is it Schranz? Scrans. Julie Hendrick, thank you. All right, so here we go. Sue, if you just popped on, I said thank you, and I'm glad you got the artwork. Kathy McCreary, Pat Normandale. Man, you guys. Skeeter Pal, good morning to you, buddy. I'll be in touch with you this week. Skeeter and I might see each other later in the week if things work out. Mickey Hupp, Dolores Bolin. Cam Lawson, froze up again. Cam, I think I'm happening, so I believe it looks like it's still happening. Okay, here we go. Got some folks piling on. In just a minute, I'm going to give away this book. Just a minute. What's time to a pig? I don't know. I'm going to paint something first, but I got to show you a couple things from the trip. And you saw them while I was putzing around down there in Florida some, trying to get, wait a minute, I got paper. I got stuff everywhere. Let me see if I can make this work a little better. Let me put some of this down here. I've got paper. I got to show you this journal. This is the journal that I paint on. Here it is right here. This is the one that's painted. I'm going to let you see it one more time just because it's finished and I'm still having a little bit of postpartum, okay? I'm struggling with the fact that it's done, even though I only spent 7 days on it, 7.5 maybe, and I don't mean full days, but I mean that time period. I've had it in my hands and I started it from scratch. It's been a little longer than that since our trip up there, but you know, you actually do all you do, and then you sit back down, you carry it with you, and you make little notes, and you try and finish all that up. I put some touches on it, and you do that when you come back. And honestly, it's like a great piece of artwork that it never has to be done. In fact, I just thought of a piece yesterday morning, and I put it in there, and I'll share that thought with you so you can have it. Okay, so all right, so here we go. So here's keeping up with a little bit of the. Here's keeping up with a little bit of the music and in the music. Music's on my mind because I'm looking for a song, but here's keeping up with the journal and just kind of where it's going. And there, I saw Pat Brooks say the toad, so I just threw it on there for a minute. I'll do that music when I get ready to give away the painting, so you'll know to make sure you're on and away from the teapot, because you kind of have to be present to win it. So there are a couple paintings. I'm going to frame one of these, and Carol's deciding which one she likes the best. These are 6x6, and there they are. This is Acadia Point. A little different perspective. A little closer, a little farther away view here, and it's kind of weird, but it's from a different angle, but you still got the sea coming up. This is in the Acadia National Park in near Bar Harbor, Maine. And so I don't know, one of these are actually going to frame and keep here at the house as a reminder, because you don't always come in and say, oh, look at my journal for the. Well, I have been doing that, and I'm boring people. I'm like, it's better than a slideshow, though. Hey, you need to see the family pictures from our vacation. So here we go. So I'm going to frame one of these. Don't know which one yet. Acadia Point, this one says, and this one just says Acadia. So one of them's going to find its way to a little cool frame, and probably a little thing, and then probably go in the cabinet with the travel books from Maine this year. And so, and we'll do a picture book also. Carol will take her best photos, and I'll take mine. And we'll put that together in like a little Shutterfly book. In fact, I like Shutterfly. I know those people. I'll go to. They're not a sponsor yet. They won't be, so it doesn't matter if I do that. But I've done some work for them. Go shoot some videos for Shutterfly every now and then. And so I'll send this down to Shutterfly, and we'll have our photos put into a coffee table book. It's pretty inexpensive these days, which is great. So one of these is going to go. Acadia on the right is gorgeous. Thank you. Love it. And Carol loves both, but she likes this one because of the orange. See, it's just a little bit of a different sun setting on this one than this one. You got some orange in here, but this is a darker part of the evening. We were out sailing when I kind of did the pencil sketch on this one and snapped a shot late in the day. And so the greens were not as spring green here. They were already fading fall green, just in the light change, only a few hours apart, 12 hours apart in those two paintings. Okay. And this, of course, is the Bass Lighthouse. And this is a view you don't get when you're in there. You have to get this from a photograph. And so when you walk down to it, you come in. If you're from a boat, you see it this way, which we weren't out on the sea in a boat. But if you come in from the other side, you see the other side of it. So real quickly on this, and then let's move ahead. I'm going to paint something. He asked, when do we leave? Arcadia is spectacular, inspiring. Yes. All right. So here we go. So here's two things about the journal. This is the Japanese album, it's called. It has 48 concertina pages. Don't you love that? Concertina. I call them accordion, but they're really concertina. They don't make any noise when you play them. But the journal is finished. Here's a little video of it. If you just want to take one look at it, here's what it looks like right here. If you haven't seen it yet, and roll that amazing bean footage. So there you go. It's a 159-second piece of the journal as it unfolds. And I have to show you one of the funny things about it. It's right here on my desk. You know, I flipped over the back page here like this to get these 3 pages together. You know, so you got to remember it's concertina. So this is one piece of paper. It's actually probably has a break in the paper somewhere where it's made, but I don't know. It's made that way. I really want to do a book like this sometime soon. I really do. And I might when I think about it. It's expensive, but hey, it is what it is with books. But there's this page, and so you know, this is all my little sketches, all my little journals. They're all splattered, and they just have, you know, some pages stick to the others when the paint's still wet. And you're out there on the road, and you got to go, and you go, I don't care. It's my travel journal. I wish I had Jason's architectural or Tom's architectural painting, writing skills and penmanship, but I don't. Anyway, it just is what it is. And here's the back side of that lighthouse. Here's the front side of that lighthouse. Here's the back side of that lighthouse. And this is Carol and I standing there. And this is that. This is a different point here in Acadia that I painted, which this is my favorite painting in the entire journal. I love it. The perspective is good. I still love this about all the main streets right in the corner. It's free for all pedestrians to just walk. Other than, of course, you can't get run over if someone's visiting there from New Jersey, Jason, and they don't know about the main rule. That is, you stop, you wait, and then as you walk across, you kind of give a little wave. So it's pretty cool. It's written on the highway. Stop, wait, and wave. Come on. You got to love that. So the city council's going like, hey, I know. Let's just call it stop, wait, and wave. You go like, that is so much better than back up 6 feet, wash your hands, and put on a mask. That is just so good. Stop, wait, and wave. It's like, and I've been using it around town. Yesterday, I went to the grocery store, and I was walking across, and a gentleman stopped right there as I was getting ready to cross into the grocery store, and I stopped. I waited for a second. He stopped, and I went, you know, it's so awesome. And I normally would do that anyway, like, thank you, like mouth the word thank you, you know. Anyway, so I love that little thing. So I had to put it in the journal. But I got to show you one thing I did in this journal and in all its pages. And this, by the way, is this painting page here. Can you see that? Yeah, I think you can see my big old head's in the way. Sorry. This is the most photographed lighthouse in the nation, and that's their claim. And the reason is because Portland's easy to get to, and it's only 20 minutes from the Portland airport. So people say, I want to go see the lighthouse. And it's called the Portland Headlight. And this was commissioned by George Washington in 1790. Okay, 1790. Come on. And so there was some people standing there, and they were looking at a map, and I'm thinking, this is funny because he's saying, can we get down to the lighthouse? And I can see the lighthouse. It's only 150 yards away. We're walking toward it, and the park ranger saying, well, yes, sir, you can. He said, but can we get close enough to take pictures? And I'm thinking people around him are snapping pictures like crazy, and he's so into this map. And we all want to say, it's right there. And the park ranger says, look at this. You can touch it. You can walk up and touch it. I'm going like, whoa. The park ranger said, I quoted him, you can touch it. And the guy goes, whoa. It's the first time he put his map down and went, oh. And so he scurried off down through there. And I just thought that was funny. But off to the side, like over here where you walk in on this part of the building, there's this rock and there's a little garden there. It's some of you heard me talk about the lady. She says, is that broccoli? I think that's broccoli. Oh my goodness, I've never seen red broccoli. That could be broccoli. I wonder if that's broccoli. I wonder if you can eat that as broccoli. And finally we said, ma'am, it's a flower. She goes, well, it looks like broccoli. I said, trust me. But there was this was painted on a big shell of a piece of a rock here, a rock that weighed 40 tons, but the edge was cracked out, and it was a compass rose. And I just wrote this little thing here. Pick a course and travel it. Makes your worldview larger and your journey brighter. And you guys have made that for me this year and all the painting. You've made my journey brighter, and I appreciate that. Here's what I turned over. I felt like I needed a big lobster there. And, you know, every Moleskine journal has a little pouch in the back to put notes and cards, and there's a little inspection number and a little sticker. And but I wanted to write something down in there, and so I did. So if you tip it up like this and you look way down in there, there's a note right in there. And so it says, run, Carol's coming to Maine. And so I wanted the trap to open. So there's a little creative spin that I just put on the book. See? All right. So I'm done with this. Thank you for letting me abuse your time with it and just show you. And before I close it, I want to show you one more picture right here. Okay. There's a tiny little picture right here. And it's a little seaside house. It's sitting on the ocean. It's a blue sky and some green trees with a lot of yellow in them. And it was probably 4 by 5 feet. This painting was in an art gallery in Camden, Maine. It's a beautiful art gallery. There were only 2 galleries open on Tuesday, and we spent the majority of the time in this one. And I saw the name on the painting, and I asked about the artist. I said, "Where does she live?" And the lady said, "Excuse me?" And I said, "Where does she live?" And he said, "She's a he." And I said, "Well, I'm sorry. Forgive me, the name is Janis on the painting, Janice." He said, "Oh, no, that's Giannis. Giannis." Oh, I said, "Okay." So Giannis spells his name Janis. And I looked up some videos on this person, and he is a trip. And he was, this was actually painted about 8 years ago, not for me. I just sketched a little piece of his in there. I wanted this little perspective on the house. And he does knife painting only, and it's just remarkable. If you ever want to look him up and see his work, it's Giannis, Janis, Saunders, S-A, you know what? I wonder if that's Sanders. I think it's Saunders. There may be a U in it. It may be Saunders, Sanders, or maybe Saunders. Giannis Saunders. Put knife, Knife, knife painting, and you might find some beautiful work later today if you're taking notes on the show. Okay, so that's worth it. All right, so that journal went with me the whole way, and I did it in it, did paint it in it. And one of these gets framed from the trip. The rest of it just gets filed on my shelf with my Paris journal, my French journal, South of France journal, and then maybe my next one. And I've got it ready to go here, and painted all that with Ninja water brushes with. Oh, sorry about that. My desk is falling apart. With Ninja water brushes, and you saw a picture there. There are these brushes right here. And Yasutoma makes those, and man, they hold up really well. And every time I hit a drink fountain, I just kept them filled up and just kept moving. And I painted most of it out of here. I did switch palettes a couple times, and I painted out of this palette from Charvin, from mostly American Journey. A couple times I used 2 of these colors to mix my sky and water because it was silky silver in Maine most of the time. So I used some of that. This is an American Journey here called Junebug. This is an American Journey here called, I'm not sure. I have to look it up. Sorry. Rats. Okay, I'll get that to you later. All right, so here we go. So let's do a little painting here this morning. And first of all, let me give away something fun. So it is Saunders, Saunders. Okay, so Amy has posted that, and all right, here we go. Let's do this. I am going to. There's 80, 90 people on the show watching right now. There's a bunch of people liking the show. You're a bunch of people commenting, like 400 and something comments. So I'm just going to scroll up and down, and I'm going to grab a name. And even if you have a book, I'm going to give you another one, and written by yours truly and illustrated by Pat Brooks. And I have a couple on the desk that some came in. And you can order any of these books from Roodoodles.com. You can also order them from Amazon. Amazon is Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. Amazon is Roobots, and also Hey Roo, What's a Wheelbarrow? And those are the 3 that I've done so far. And this one illustrated by Pat. And all her tools are in the back. It's really cool. And also here are my tools. Yes, which one of us thinks, which one of us plan ahead, and which one of us just flies by the seat of his pants? I love her style and skill. Okay, so there it is right there. There's my tiny Altoid box right here. There's my Ninja water brush, American Journey brushes, my Yasutoma number 2, and which, well, I just got a new one of those. Man, is it just fancy. And my Kakuno pen and Extreme 05, But I'm painting with a new pen in my journal. I used a Preppy pen from Cheap Joe's, Preppy, Preppyot. All right, so this is getting ready to go. Here we go. Scrolling down. I got to get to the bottom, all the way up to the top. And then I'm going to look at you and go back and forth, way out of my peripheral. I can't read it. I'm just seeing the screen track up and down. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Got off the page. Track up and down, track up and down. And here it goes. 1, 2, 3, and the first name that pops into my head is Ann Westra. Ann Westra. Oh my gosh. And she actually typed, pick me, pick me. That's too funny. Well, you're not the only person that typed that. And if you'll send me an email, Ann Westra, if you'll send me an email, I'm going to write your name right in the book right now. If you'll send me an email at roodoodles@gmail.com, roodoodles@gmail.com. When the show's over, no rush, send this to me. And first of the week, I'll put this in. And I'm going to just doodle a little something in here. And I'm going to just make notes right in the book right now. I'm going to say show, doodle, and I'll do something and I'll link something to Pat. I'll figure out something way and I'll put it. So there it is right there. So Ann Wester, if you're on the show, you're going to get Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. And if you already have one, then give this one away. Bless a teacher with it somewhere. Hey, folks, thanks for sharing the information about this book. Let your teacher friends, your homeschool buddies, your grandkids know. There's a story in here that really makes this rule or this non-rule come to life. That's what it's all about. And just how important is this? Art created out of service will never hold the eye like art created out of love. Like I didn't have to go to Maine to do good paintings, to sell paintings. That's not what this was about. This was to go there and paint this place out of love. As Carol and I stood in line in the National Park Service, who cannot schedule their way out of a bag for restaurants, trust me, Rockefeller bought this land and gave it back to him. It's Jordan Pond House, and this is their logo. And then you go there and you have this popover, which is literally this big, as big as a softball, and with fresh blueberry or strawberry or blackberry jam. And it's just remarkable. And you walk up and you say, I'd like to get a reservation. They say, well, you're here. They say, yeah, I'm here. Well, we'd like to come back at 12. Well, you can't do that. You have to eat now. You're here. And you go like, well, wait, it said you get a reservation. Yes, this is a reservation. When you come up to the window, this is your reservation. Go like, you people don't get it, do you? It's a good thing you're never mind. Okay. All right. So you paint out of love and not service. So, all right, here we go. Let's paint something. As a matter of fact, I've been holding you up too long. This is Fabriano paper. It's 8x8. It's pretty cool paper. It's kind of expensive sometimes for what it is. And honestly, I think I like, and it's a little more coarse and rough, but I wanted to do a thing this morning with you that was called 1 roux, 2 roux, 3 roux. And I think I got time to do it here just real quickly. I'm gonna put on some music and here's the way it's gonna work. And Jean says she likes her Preppy pen. And by the way, I'm seriously talking and thinking, and I got a year to think about it almost. I'm seriously thinking about going to Maine again and doing a journal trip, finding a place and put out information. And you could book your own place, but we would meet in the mornings and we would go out and sketch a little bit. And there'd be some walking involved and some traveling a little bit here and there, but kind of going out and see what you get and come back and put journals together for that week and having a place where we could meet and do it. So I'm seriously thinking about what that would cost. I brought a rock back from Maine. There it is. Look at this rock. Have you ever seen a rock like this? Look how it's sheared off. I love how these rocks are just sheared. This rock is from Kennebunkport, and I brought it back, and it sits over here to hold my pens from rolling off the desk on the floor. I've been using an anvil. I've been using this little anvil here, but I wanted something that reminded me of my trip, and so there's my little rock. So it's right there. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to grab a pen this morning, and I'm going to grab an 05, I think. An 05 Pentel. Haven't sketched with those in a while. And I'm going to do a roux, and I'm just going to use one color. And you're going to say, well, what color would he use? You're not going to. You're going to be surprised. So here we go. And he's going to just be a small roux right here. I did probably need a little painting music. What do you think? Yeah, it's here's a little painting music for this roux. Let's see. Let's do. What's this song right here? That's not the one I wanted. No, I didn't want that one. I wanted this one, maybe. Not the same song. How did that work? How about this one? Nothing's played. All right. Nope, that's not it either. That's not the one I wanted. I wanted something different. Rats. I was looking for a new song that I downloaded this morning to just have some fun with on this, and I don't see it. Oh well, what the heck? This one says coffee, so I'll do it that. We'll do that. All right, here we go. Is there any news about the Wednesday class, or did I miss it? Yes, Pat. If you didn't get an email, send me one. I mean, your registration probably didn't have an email. I've had 3 or 4 folks like that. The class, I've reset everything. It's back up and running. And I'm just going to pick up on Wednesday, and then we'll schedule that next show to be in. So I'll go do the first class this week, and we'll get it in. So sorry I haven't mentioned that yet this morning. But Wednesday, I'm back home. I've reset everything. All of the systems are ready to go. Tested it out again yesterday. So I think I'm going to actually get it to work this time. Just too many loose irons in the fire that were happening on the road, and with all the things that Facebook went through, it didn't cost me anything. It cost some of you all maybe some time. It cost Zuckerberg about $6 billion personally. I don't know how they figured that out, but apparently. Okay, so this is my one color roux. Here we go. I'm just going to grab an American Journey brush, and I'm going to grab a big old brush. I'm going to grab a number 8 brush. I just give this a swipe. Some water. Watch here. Watch here. Did I really say that? I grew up in East Tennessee. Watch this. So sorry. Just give it a little bit of water here, like so. This is one color roux. A one color roux. You would think, I bet he's going to go, but he's going to drop some black in there. Nope. Just going to go completely in a different direction. And I'm just letting my brush dance here around. If you can see the glare on this, let's see if you can. Let me see if I can. Almost. There it is right there. Look, see the glisten on that? See, there's white spaces in there. Yes, Kenny Buckport is a Ritzy address. Yeah, you bet it is, okay? But you got a year to save up for it. It took me about 3 years to save up for it, but I did it. And look at this. I'm going in for the color. Here it is, just going in for the color. Dropping the color in right now. Just shaking it in like so. One color roux. Here he comes. Da, 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 da. Still finished him within the time of the music. Don't you love that? All right. So there it is. All I got to do is pick up some of this right here, put a little bit right there on his beak, and touch a little here, and just give him this. And I'd say that he's finished. That's one color roux. Sometimes when you're journaling, when you're sketching, when you're working on the fly, you can do something that quickly. That just kind of makes life fun. I'm going to leave that just like it is right now. I might do something to it later. I'm going to put it over here in a flat place. I'm going to reach and get another 8x8 piece. And this is not Fabriano paper. This is fluid, 140 pound. That's also 140 pound. And so here we go. And I'm still using this today. I'm not on a bamboo brush. I'm just on a interlock nylon brush. And so I'm going to do this roux, kind of the same as that one. Just my concept of roux is just to grab one and just grab a pen and sort of let it roll the way it needs to roll. No big deal. Just have fun with it. Ooh. 2 colors here. I'll let them jazz together. Here we go. This rooster should probably be playing a stand-up bass, huh? Could probably draw one over here if I had time. Ooh, that's a good thought. Might do that later. Might just put a stand-up base here, have his wing coming out there. Might do it later, nothing. I'm going to do it right now. Looks more like a cello, but I'll get there. All right. 2 colors. Here we go. Let's go in with this. What colors will I use for this one? I don't know. I'm just going to grab a couple, but I think I've got it in my mind as I start to put this together. Let the pen be a color. Oh, that counts. You can always let the pen be a color. Take some water in there. Just kind of let it be loosey-goosey where it wants to go. Let's go in here. I should have wet these paints just a little bit over here. If you can see what I'm doing, I'm spraying a little bit of misting water on these just to wake up this paint a little bit. Let me move this in just a little closer so you can see it here. So this is what I do some days. I'll just come in, and if I don't have a plan, I'll just sort of play and let it just go where it needs to go. Used a lot of blue on this trip, and I used a lot of orange. Man, they go together so well. And of course, they run together, and I'm going to get that third color that jazz this thing right up. Now, when I read that comment this morning about holidays give art, people need holidays, but so does your art, and it's in the book. Because we all could use light and space, and that's what happens here. When you have light and space coming in, oh, sorry, I almost used the wrong color. See, I was using orange, and I just reached automatically into, look at that, that's pretty cool, huh? So I just get this little thing done. Might just pick up a little bit of a brush here and just let it some splatter out there like this. And so you think, wow, these are gesture paintings. These are just fun things that you do. I've got a group that I'm painting with some kids coming up, and I get them to just say, stop trying to think that you're no good if you can't make it look like a photograph. Please get that out of your head. I say that to children. I say that to myself all the time. You put so much pressure on you to be something that you're not in art. Why? Your art needs to communicate who you are. Do you want to get better? Paint every day. 8:57, 20 minutes. Just do it. Journaling in my Bible journals that I've been doing for the last 2 years, and just a little drawing every day, tiny little drawing, and then drawing in these journals when I'm walking through. I'm not wasting my time there in vacationing or having fun with Carol or good food. All that takes place, but I'm absorbing that place when I'm there. I know more about Maine now than I ever did. I couldn't have studied Maine in school. Well, I didn't want to study anything in school, but I couldn't have studied Maine in school and learned more than I learned in that week of being there in those 3 places. Yeah, Kennebunkport's a little uppity, but not because the Bushes live there. They've done a great thing for that town, actually. My favorite was Kennebunkport and Camden. Bar Harbor was not my favorite. Even shops and galleries. The galleries in Camden were fabulous, but Acadia National is close to Bar Harbor, so that's kind of went there. So, all right, so there's that painting right there. And I just told you a fib. I told you I was going to paint this on. I told you a absolute fib. So hold on. Now I'm going to change directions. I told you I was going to paint that on this Fluid 100 paper, but I remembered last night I took a piece of the rats. I took a piece of the Fabriano and ripped it off of the pad and slipped it in here. So I had another piece of Fabriano. So I'll do all 3 on Fabriano. So let's do a little review here. Here's the 1 color, 2 color, and 3 color roux. So I'm going to go for the 3 color this morning. And I do this sometimes when I'm teaching myself a lesson about how I want to let paint just flex and bond. And some of you know that on the paint classes, I'll just ask you to take pieces and put them together. And so in this case, I really want you to just put 3 colors together on the object that you're painting. One more time, we'll sketch this little roux. Here he goes right here. Oh, I hear that banjo. All right, 3 colors. Here we go. I have no clue. Just put the water in. Same brush. Just dancing the water in. Not too much water. Just playing with the water. This is the best way I know to learn how to use water in watercolor. Just experiment. If your paint runs out on your shoes, you probably use too much water. If it's staying on the paper, if it's staying between the lines, that helps you too. But what happens when color hits this water? It takes off. It follows the water. And that's a fun thing to happen here. Okay, what are we going to use here? Way out of the woodwork, okay? Just going to go get 3 colors I normally wouldn't use. I'm going to use this periwinkle. I'm going to use this peach. Oh my gosh. Mr. Pastel Roux here. And I'm going to need something to really turn the corner here. I don't care if it goes with this or not, but I'm going to go for Terry Tardy Turquoise. So there it is right there. And I think that's the color that I'm going to do on the paintbrush and the bucket down here. And so I want more of that just spilled out all over the place. That'll help my theme of this little piece right there. Should have probably done a little bit of a wing coming down here that's got Terry Tardy Turquoise all over it like so. Come back in with my pen and put some of the feathers in that. Remember, I can use my pen as a color if it fades in. So there you go. So there's a little bit of that just done. I can always go back and get a little more of this periwinkle and splatter it in like this. And so sometimes I just do 1 color, 2 color, 3 color, and you see that that little bit of that pink peach. I think it's a peach and not rose. It's more of a peach color right here. Just let it kind of go in. And so so I get these different looks, and I'll love some of them. I don't like some of them. I'll never do that again. That's how you learn. And so the whole concept of this is what happens when you just experiment, when you just have fun with watercolors, and quit putting so much pressure on yourself to do something that you don't understand. One of the things that I learned in Maine was that not all lobsters are red. Only cooked lobsters are red. Thank you, Tom, for that. And I had been learning that before I met Tom, but he told me a funny story about people who get lobsters shipped to their houses from Maine. You know, they do it. I actually watched people bundle up 2 live lobsters and put them in with the cold packs and foam, and they took it to the pilot. I was standing in the Portland airport, and they gave it to the pilot, well, he was to actually take it to home, but they give it to the flight attendant. She carries it on. They put it in a special place. It's not under the plane. It's on the plane. It's crazy. These might have been for some of his friends because she actually, like, she knew the guys probably flies through there all the time. Anyway, Tom was telling me when you get one of those shipped, like if we went right now and shipped one to your house, it showed up. It would be kind of a crusty looking, orangey, red, greenish, brown, speckled yellow looking thing with a couple of rubber bands around his claws. And you go, what the heck? This isn't a red lobster from Maine. They're only red when you cook them. I mean, that red. When they get orange red, just like blown out, they're cooked. You know, it's sort of like shrimp all go pink, but they're kind of brownish, rusty, ugly colors when they're not. And so I've learned to do that. And that's why I was going to show you this journal, one more journal to go. So here's the 3 roux. I want you to see them all side by side. 1 color, 2 color, and 3 color. And there it is right there. So there's the thing. And so immediately I go, hey, this orange and blue didn't work for me. It just kind of got out of sight. Too much water. I'll chuck it. Um, this purple has a lot of potential. Look at the shadowing in this one color. And so I'm kind of drawn to that. I can't wait till the other two dry and I just get a look at them and see if I like them a little better. So I experiment like that. So what's that cost me to do that? Okay. Well, this pack of paper was about $18 or 20, maybe 18 bucks. I don't know if there's a price tag on the back or not. Didn't have my receipt here. It's 140 pound. It comes with, there's how many sheets in here? 30 sheets. Okay, so I've just used 3 sheets of this, $30. You know, I've used $1.50 worth of paper, maybe less. It's worth it for me to experiment on to see if I like the way the color breaks down on this 140 pound. So when you're buying paper, buy one for your serious painting and buy one to just wreck and paint on. And that's the stuff that you'll hear in the class over and over and over as you think like an artist. And so people say, gosh, you sure have a lot of paper. And I go, well, half of that's not going to become anything except trial and error for me to experiment with and fail. It's okay to fail at watercolor. I'm going to take this off right here. And put it down on the ground here. And so there's my 3 paintings. And I want to show you this little piece. And I'll do one more small painting for you this morning. I think I got time to do that. Let's see what's going on here. Yay, Terry Tardy, got your turquoise in there. That TTT brought it to life. Yeah, it does. Skeeter says it's crazy when you hear them scratching around in the box before you open it. Let your soul color your world. Yeah, you can carry them on the plane. Isn't that funny? I love it that you guys know this. Michelle says those would be great framed together. Yeah, we'll make a triptych out of them and send them out of here somewhere. Lobster with clarified vanilla bean, butter, Parmesan risotto, and garlic sauteed spinach. Pat is already writing a cookbook. You can tell. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, Jason, I love it. Now he's back to making bacon. You know what I'm going to do, brother, is I'm getting ready to do my pancakes for 3 grandkids here in just a few minutes. Speaking of lobsters, let's take a look. Here they are. This has become one of my favorite little pieces of journal, and I'm going to tell you why. And you'll probably hear this on my art class a little more when we talk about perspective. The journal, working within a journal is that set thing. So I don't just have a big piece of paper like this and say, okay, I did this little piece of art. Now I'll cut all this away and keep this perspective. You can do that. You can paint a painting that's this big, and then you can give yourself a little framed window like this, and you can put it down and say, ooh, I think I'll cut that part out and frame it. That is really great. Don't feel bad about cutting up your artwork and framing it somehow. Make good art out of whatever you have. Did you understand what I'm saying there? Some of you may paint on a piece of paper that's 2 by 3 feet. And in that 2 by 3 feet section, you might have this little rooster over there. In my case, it'd be a little rooster, who is just his perspective, his face, his voice, his concept, his everything is perfect. And you say, gosh, I wish I hadn't put the barn over here and the silo and the goat pen. And I wish I hadn't put the chickens all running around. And I wish I hadn't put the tractor falling down with the wheel off. And I wish I hadn't put the rototiller that's broken. So you do this thinking, I've got to make a photograph. No, you may say, there's my painting right there. So you come in with a little frame. Just get yourself a mat, an open mat, like comes on in frames, and at 5 by 7, and hold it down and say, oh, look at this. Look what we got. We can make it here. We can make it here. We can turn this in here. And we can put this here. We go, that's it. I just framed it. This one says waste because this is I got this off the airplane. Did I steal it? No, I was feeling a little queasy, but I took it to paint on. I painted a lobster on one of those while I was flying on the airplane. But you see what I'm saying? So what this journal has done for me, just like my other Moleskine journal has done, it just gives me a playing field that I have to stay within the basis of. And you say, oh, everything doesn't have to be centered on the page. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. This is the one that I started painting lobsters in that I took with me. And I left the first page open. And you're thinking, well, no, there's a painting there. Yeah, but I didn't paint on the first page. This was one of the last lobsters that I painted. This is one of the first. Didn't really know what I was doing, just kind of scriggling in here. Of course, I started painting them in here first. And why am I so into lobsters right now? Because I'm proving to you, if you want to learn to paint something new, you can start by just start to paint little roosters. There was the crab I did. There's some bees. The day I bought this little journal, I was in Destin, Florida. I was eating at Emerald's restaurant. He has this big painting of this crab up over his desk. And then I started painting. There was a boat. And then, okay, no, it don't taste like chicken. I said, not doesn't, but don't. And then I started just painting them. And I started figuring out how their hands were hinged. And I just did one color, two color. Now you see where I was going with my lesson this morning. One color, three color. Oh, I got a little green because I put that blue in there, and that turned into yellow, blue, orange. Back to one color, back to three color, back to 4 or 5 color. But look what I did here in perspective. I couldn't draw the whole lobster. I was tired of drawing little ones on the page. I got tired of making them centered. I just said, I want one crawling onto the page. So that gave me hope to keep moving forward. And here's just a claw, a perspective of a claw. Here's a little one crawling across the page. Here's one crawling up the page, one crawling the other direction, one standing on his tail singing YMCA. It's fun to stay at the, hey, stop singing. Robbie's in the trap. There's one, a white sport coat and a pink crustacean. I'm all dressed up for the day. So you get into this. Here's some just splattered. So when I would carry this around, there's one crawling onto the page, there's one crawling down the page. My point is, look, I used this for perspective again. There's the start of my first Kennebunkport on September the 24th sketch. That wound up being in my journal. There's a lobster. Then this one I painted in Bar Harbor, Maine on the 21st of September. Carol and I were sitting outside. The light was flickering, had a little LED there, and I started painting this lobster, and it started coming to fruition. And I thought, oh, it was just pen and ink. I started it with one color. And then I thought, I'm going to add more. And I popped open my little paints, and I got out my Ninja brush, and I started dancing the colors in there, and I just let it continue to flow. And then I went, oh, stop, you're done. And then I wanted one crawling onto the page. So this has helped me with perspective of not being trapped within the walls of the paper. It's okay if it runs off the page. Look. So this has become what I call my lobster roll book. Look at that one. One of my favorites. One color. No color, really, except for the pen. It's just pen and ink. That's all. Pen and ink. My favorite, maybe my favorite lobster. One color. 2 colors. 3 colors. 2 colors. Boom, boom. Little touch of orange, little blue. Did that on one of my paintings. 1 color, ink and blue. 2 colors. Oh, 3 colors on this one. Got a little orange in there. 4 colors here, but I just drew them all over the page. One crawling off, one crawling on, one crawling around. These are bugs. There's one that's just pen and ink. There's one that's just pen and ink. Here's one that's pencil with my lobster pencil. Why am I showing you this? This is what I do to improve my craft. This is thinking like an artist, people. This is why folks want to take the class. This is why folks want to join me here every day and say, I can do this. I can make a card. I don't have to. I'm not painting for the museum in Washington. I'm just having fun here, man. This is making me feel like an artist. What a great confidence builder that is. Love it, love it, love it. Love this one, okay? Is it 1 color or 2? Well, do you count T as a color? If you do, it's 2 color. It's pen and it's T. And that's it. I literally dipped my brush yesterday morning, and I found myself at the table, and I didn't even have ask Michael Hahn where he and Carol had the best lobster and go there. I can tell you one of the best lobsters that we had, that's funny, was in Camden, Maine at Peter Ott's on the Water. And I went there because I wanted to try something I never tried. They had fettuccine Alfredo with lobster. And the cream sauce was killer. Oh my gosh. off of the chain. So it was good. The lobster bisque, I can get great lobster bisque here. When we eat a lobster roll, it's not with the bread. We have it over lettuce and warmed up with butter. Have it a little more Connecticut than Maine. Maine puts a little more mayo in there, and you don't want to get me into this. I had a lot of haddock, which is my favorite fish. So I left a page and I did this one. Take a look. And then I went back a couple days ago and I painted this little blue one here with about 5 colors. And I left him on there. So this has become one of my favorite journals. I'll buy this journal again. It's, I think I told you what it was. It's Handbook Journal Company. I got this one from Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. Handbook Journal Company. It's made by Speedball Art, which is, strangely enough, I use Speedball ink and I use Speedball fluid paper. It's made by Speedball. So they're not a sponsor yet. Okay, so actually I say that they don't have any sponsors. All right. Blessings to you all. Thanks for being on the show today. And I'm going to do this right now. This is going to be my last little bit. Rue, I shared one I actually painted with coffee. Coffee and tea are great, great colors. Here we go. I'm scrolling through all the posts this morning, and there are a ton of them. I'm scrolling through it. Thank you for loving the show. Thank you for hitting the little heart button. Thank you for doing that. If you see my piece on Cheap Joe's Art, if you see the piece about the journal, go to Cheap Joe's Art site. And if you see the video about my journal on there they posted yesterday, like it and tell them that Rue says hello. And you know what? Doesn't hurt to build that community up too, because they do great things for a lot of children. In fact, they gave me some paint recently for this thing I'm doing with the foster home group here, and it's just amazing. They said, hey, take these little pieces and use them, and the kids can have them. And I'm going like, thank you. They do some great stuff. So if you see that post out there on Cheap Joe's Art, and I think Yasutoma is posting it also. All right, so here we go. Ann Webster, you're supposed to send me an email. I'm scrolling up and down. What's this for? It's not another book, but it's 2 Yasutoma brushes, a 1 and a 3. I think is what we're still giving away, a 1 and a 3. So here we go, scrolling. This is the end of the show right here, and the name is Catherine Brousseau. Catherine Brousseau, Brosseau, Brousseau. Catherine, if you'll send me an email at roodoodles@gmail.com, roodoodles@gmail.com, I will put your name on the list for 2 Yasutoma brushes. They'll look kind of like one of these 2, this one and this one. There's what they'll look like right there, the 1 and the 3. And man, they are fun brushes to paint with and throw some fun around. They will come from Cheap Joe's. They'll come from California. They come rolling down from, here's my Yasutoma winners right here. And so, Catherine, I'm going to put your name on this. Catherine, Brosseau, 2 U1 on 10/9/21. So if you send me an email, I will, if you don't send me an email, then I'll give them away next week. Monday, I'll be on live, hopefully Tuesday, and then the class will resume. Look, it's actually working. I'm back in my studio, have new cabling. I've upgraded everything. Blessings for you guys spending the morning with me. Thanks for all the loves and the likes and sharing and the comments you make on the page. I will take a little bit of time today and see if I can go back through here and keep up with some of your comments and respond to some. I've been out of touch and I haven't been able to do that. I'll do it. I still look at Rue's Crew. You guys are killing it. You are a phenomenal community of people who support one another, who encourage one another. And come on, if that's not what life is about, then we may not need to be on the planet. Shed some light today. Holidays are good for people, but they're great for art. They leave space and they leave light. And we all can be a light to someone today. Take a sip of your coffee. Jason's got breakfast to make. Some of you do. I do too. And thanks, Skeeter Pal, and I'll be in touch with you. I know who I need to send a text to right now before I get up. Just a little word of hope to someone. Going to do it right now as soon as I grab my phone. And blessings to you. Appreciate y'all being a part of what I do. I am out of here like a herd of turtles. And guess what I have found? I found my harmonica so I could go off in style.